That's how we're clocking it. And they help in the marketing part. So, being a typical telco, they can send out SMSs, they can send out newsletters, they can email out. You have to know what is the marketing infrastructure that the organization that you're inviting over to become a partner has, and how can you optimize on that marketing platform, because that's their sole responsibility. As DubLi, we do everything. We put together, the portal's already there, the merchants are there, the deals are there, everything's in place, we host it, we run it, but the responsibility of the partner is to market it. So that's the part that sometimes sometimes we've seen we fail in, and that is we don't engage with the partner well enough, we don't know what their marketing ability is, and thus we don't optimize on that enough to monetize their database. That is critical. Another very innovative way, and there are thousands of them, but I'm giving you 2 or 3 to get your mind working. Another very interesting way is to run an employee benefit program. We've seen large corporations, when times were not very good in 2008 to say 2011, couldn't give bonuses. They gave hefty bonuses previously. They couldn't give bonuses. This is a great way to thank your staff by buying them perhaps a VIP membership. What happens is, as an organization, and this classic example is of Pizza Express in one of the countries, that they buy all their employees, people who make your burgers and pizzas and deliver them to you, they buy them VIP memberships. They then go online and make purchases and have savings. And as they go and buy, the company itself starts to get money back, and in essence, they probably end up spending nothing to be able to give that value to their staff. So instead of saying, sorry guys, we haven't made enough profits this year, so we're not going to give you a bonus, here is another opportunity to actually give them some value. So there are several ways in which you can tailor-make the partner program. It's the same partner program, it is the same portal, it's the same deals, everything is the same, but you've got to look at what is the value that customer or that client's customer can draw out of it. And so let's structure the program in such a way that they see true value. Then you will engage with them. Make sure you optimize on their marketing platform and take it from there, so that as long as they market to their client or to their customer, you will see a lot of customers come through your partner program, through your link, which means every time they shop, there's money in the bank for you. So it's a great way to fast track bringing customers to your own shopping mall, so to say. If you need me, I'll be outside during the coffee break. Any questions you have, you can ask. Thank you.
This is ECOMMERCE Bicky Carla.
Music's good. Okay. That's the same thing. I've been asked to present this one slide. Okay. So Khalid mentioned earlier that only for the Middle East we have a special proposition that we brought on board, and I'm going to quickly run you through that. So within the Middle East, you buy your VIP at $49.50, right? So you buy your VIP vouchers at $49.50. Nowhere else do we then give you the opportunity to go and pick vouchers from your back office. And some of the vouchers that you will pick could be for travel from Kano. It could be an online purchase from Souk.com. It could be pearls from Joy Alucas. And so these are brands that you would be familiar, at least if you're living in the Middle East or in UAE, you will be familiar with these brands. So we have 2 hotels. We have a retail partner, a travel partner that's in every country in GCC today, and Souk.com that is in Saudi, in Kuwait, and even in UAE. I must manage your expectations. These vouchers will keep on changing. So don't get stuck with ilovesoup.com. Why don't you still have them? Because there might be soupmall.com. It could be something else. So these vouchers are all dynamic. We don't run these businesses. They decide when to engage, how to engage. Some of the vouchers are 50% off. So, for example, if you take Joy Alucas and you go and buy pearls there, you get 50% off. Okay? So obviously they're trying to draw more customers. The validity could be 1 month, it could be 3 months. Kanu is 12 months. Okay, so every time you go and buy your holidays from Kanu, you will have your 200 dirham voucher or $49 voucher that you can go and redeem from there. So different vouchers, different validities. There will be new brands coming in and the old ones going out. This is going to be a continuous process, but you will always have vouchers in your back end. So these are as well some of the vouchers that we have today. F&B, wellness, if you want to go get your massage, so there you go, green work. Or just for women is Janati, and then you have some on F&B. Thank you.
I just want to talk a bit more about the partner program, because the reason why this partner program is so effective is that the biggest challenge you have today when you open an online business is that nobody trusts your brand. Let's say that, let's play a little game here. Let's say that for everybody right now is getting a text message or over your phone about getting cashback at DubLi. Let's say you've never heard about DubLi before. So now DubLi is sending you a text message here. We just launched a new cashback portal here in the Middle East. Register today, you're going to get $10 added to your account here, and now you're going to get money back on all your online buyings. It seems like a good idea, but almost nobody of you is going to register it. Why? Because you never heard about DubLi before. So your reaction is that, I never heard about DubLi before, I don't want to put my credit card in DubLi, I don't think they're ever going to pay me the cashback. That's how your reaction is as a new customer. But let's say that you're all a customer of a good bank here, Etisalat. Let's say that you are all a customer of Etisalat now. You are going to get the same text message from Etisalat. And now Etisalat is saying, we just want to inform you, Etisalat just launched its own cashback portal here in the Middle East. Now you're going to get money back on all your online buyings. Not only this, we're going to add $10 to your account. What is your reaction? Wow, this is great. You know, I know Etisalat. Wow, I'm getting $10, now I'm going to get money back. And that's the reason why this partner program is so effective, because all those partners is going out to what we call the warm market customer. Customer already know those brands. And that's the reason why it's a huge possibility to bring in 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, in some cases, millions of customers overnight. We're going to India now. We have a small conversation with a company in India here with 360 million customers. If only 10% is converting to cashback customer, is that okay? You have a special opportunity here to talk to Bicky, as I said here in the break, and you will be outside here. It's a great, great opportunity. But I also want to tell you one thing, because I always hear people saying, you know, this is great, I only want to concentrate about the partner program because I have a lot of connections. I don't want to build a sales organization. This is a very, very big mistake you're doing. You should do both, because by building a sales organization around the world, you're not only going to get 2 or 3 or 4 partner programs, you're going to get hundreds of partner programs around the world. And the next telecommunication company, like here in Dubai, in India or in China, can be your sales organization. And now you're going to a percentage of all those customers coming in. So don't say that I only want to do this part here. Use the whole opportunity. I want to give you some advice here before the break to how to become successful. I'm always getting the same questions. Michael, how can I become successful in this business here? And to be honest, the first thing I want to say to you is there's no difference between doing this business here and run a normal business. How many of you had your own business before? Okay, then you know what I'm talking about. So the first thing I want you to remember is this is a normal business. Okay, it's not a lottery ticket you're buying here. You have to work hard and you have to work consistency. You have to get up in the morning, you have to motivate yourself. But what's special about this business here compared to if you went out and you opened your own restaurant or your own shoe store is that here you're actually working together with the company. So you're getting the best of both worlds. You run your own business, but you're never alone because you have a company behind you. But of course, because you have a company behind you, it's also very, very important that you choose the right company. You don't want to choose a company that's going to close down in a year or two. Can we agree on that? It's not a good idea. That's the reason why some people are willing to pay more than $1 million to get a McDonald's license, because they know that McDonald's is going to be around in the next 10 years or 100 years. So don't choose a company that at least not have 5 years on the back. The chances when you open up a new company that is going to close down in the first 5 years are more than 80% worldwide. DubLi is today 12 years old, so we survived the first 5 years. We're going to be here the next 10 years. We're also going to be here the next 100 years because we created a very, very strong foundation. Today we have 3 big offices. We have in Fort Lauderdale, in the United States, we have in Berlin, and we have in Dubai. But we are expanding so fast today that we already launched 3 new offices in the last 90 days. 2 of them in the United States and 1 in New Delhi, India. So we just launched a new office in Portland, Oregon, Denver, Colorado, and New Delhi. And this is one of many, many offices we're going to be launched in 2015 around the world to make the best support for you. I had a vision when I started DubLi, and that was to surround myself with better people than myself. That was really, really easy for me. Because you can have the best idea in the world, if you don't have the right people around you, it's never going to become a reality. And what I'm so proud to talk about is the team that we have in DubLi, because we really, really have a world-class team. And people are not in our company because of the salary we are paying, they're there because of the vision. Let's talk a little bit, just 2 seconds about our board. As we already talked about, Les Morris is really well known. He was the founder of Microsoft in the whole of South America, including a lot of countries in Asia. Today he's counted as the 5th most important guy in Microsoft history. Why do you think he's in DubLi? Because of the vision. He wants to do it one more time. He already created history one time when he joined Microsoft. Now he wants to do it the second time. If you look at some of the management team we have here, Nick Sharp, just hired him some few months ago. He came from a small company called Nike. Then we have Kim Bristol. We also hired here over the last 6 months here. He came from a small company called Shop at Home, and that was actually, until today, the biggest cashback portal in the world at that time. We have Bicky. I don't want to talk more about this guy here. So let's talk about Jerry. Jerry is coming on the stage here. After the break here, he will tell his own background here. But what I like so much about Jerry is that he has a background, not only has he been a leader in this direct selling industry for many years, but also a traditional business background. And that is really what it takes to become successful here. Alex Petiselak, who's also working with a partner program, was one of the leaders in a small financial company called Morgan Stanley. I think most of you know that company. And that's the kind of people we have around us. But not only this, also if you look at our normal employees in the company, one of our programmers we have today in the United States, he was working for a small company also called Microsoft, and he did a little project in Microsoft called the Bing search engine. He actually programmed the Bing search engine by himself alone without a team, and Microsoft launched it. So that's the kind of people we have in DubLi today, and that's the kind of people you need to have so the vision is going to become a reality. The first thing you need to do if you're starting this business is you need to find your own motivation. And the reason why this is so important, this business here, is that When you go out and you open a normal business, let's say you open a restaurant or you open a shoe store, whatever you open, you're pretty motivated because you have to pay a lot of money. If you want to open a McDonald's, you have to pay $600,000-$700,000 to open your McDonald's. And now you're going to work 60 hours every week for the next 5 years without earning any money. Why are you not stopping after 2 years? You cannot stop because you commit yourself. You paid $700,000. People are always asking me, how can I become successful in network marketing? And the answer is really, really simple. Come here today here, pay me $1 million here, and I will put it in my pocket. And the only way you can get this $1 million back, if you qualify to vice president in the next 12 months, believe me, if everybody did this tonight, all of you is going to become successful because you committed yourself. But when you start in a business where you only pay $500 or a couple of $1,000s, it's very, very easy to quit again. You understand? It's like, oh, you know, I talked to 3 people that didn't like to get cash back. I don't want to do this business anymore. You know, I paid $500. We can forget about the $500. It's easy to quit. If you paid $200,000, you didn't care about 3 people saying no to you. You committed. So what's very important for you is you need to know your own motivation why you want to do this business. And you need to treat it like $1 million business because this is really a $2 million business. I want to give an example here about a motivation. And this example here is one of you who's sitting here tonight and saying, you know what, I actually like this business here and I want to do this business. My motivation for doing this business is that I'm tired of my boss at work. I don't like my boss. And now we can do like this. I think everybody can relate to that. How many of you really love your boss at work? No, that's good. So the motivation you have right now is really, really simple. You have these pictures in your head now, and in 12 months from now on, you want to go early to work, go into his big office, sit down in his big chair and put your shoes on his table, and then you'll sit and wait, you know, like this, big smile on you. And a little bit later he's coming in, and of course he's looking surprised, you're sitting in his chair there with your feet on his table, and then you will say, good morning. My boss, you know, I just looked at my calendar this morning, and I'm so sorry to say, but I don't have more time for you, so goodbye. So that is your motivation. So now you're really, really motivated. As I said, this is the picture you have in your head you want to do in 12 months from now on. So this is an example of your business, how it can develop over the next 12 months. So now you're starting here in the first months, and you're top motivated now here. You want to build your business, you want to quit your job here in 12 months. So you talk to one guy now who wants to earn a little bit extra money like yourself. Remember what I said in the beginning, 96% of all people around the world want to earn extra money. The last 4% is lying. It doesn't matter. There's still enough people to talk to. So you talk to one guy now like yourself who wants to earn extra money, and he's starting your business. And now you're 2 in your business, including yourself. Now there's 3 more weeks in this month here. You're completely exhausted. It was so hard to talk to this guy here. So back on the couch here, you know, and he didn't see Survive and all the other programs in television. And the guy, he's completely exhausted about making this big decision to join the network. So he's also doing nothing. That was the first month. Now we're coming to the next month. And now suddenly remember, you know, my goal here in 12 months, I want to go to my boss's office. So you take your new partner and you make a strategy meeting, and each one of you is talking to one person who wants to earn extra money. So now you're forming your business, including yourself. The next 3 weeks, nobody's doing anything. Everybody's lying on the couch, completely exhausted here. New months, exactly the same thing happens. A new strategy meeting with your 3 partners. 1 new to the business, and now you are 8. How many of you think this is pretty realistic, that you can be 8 in your business, including yourself in 3 months? Look what happened if everybody is going to do the same over the next 12 months. And that's the power of what we're showing you here. Nothing happens. Moving battery. Okay. So to make it a little bit easier for you here, mostly for myself, I can follow it here and change it to 250. But look at the power here. 4,000 people, not only in Dubai, around the world in your sales organization. What is the difference between those 3 lines here and those 3 lines here? What is the difference? There is no difference. The difference is that when you look at those 3 lines here, especially if we have a seller here, you will say, oh, this is so easy. I will have 50 people behind me in 3 months. But when we come to those numbers here, it's like, oh, I don't really think this can happen. But it is happening. It's happening for a lot of our sellers around the world every single day. Then I always hear also that people say, you know what, Mike, I really like this business here, but I don't have time. I have to do something in the next couple of months. So I will start in 3-4 months to do this business. And of course you can decide to do that. But what you don't think about is that in the next 3 months, you think about those 3 lines here, but think about how much this is going to cost you in a year from now on because of this effect. So now I'm going to show you the most exciting things I think you need to understand in this business. And that is that, let's say those 4,000 people here is going out, bringing an average of 20 new customers to the business. That means this sales organization will now get 80,000 customers into DubLi. All in your organization. That means that now we're going to earn money on all those 80,000 customers. Every time they do some shopping, every time they buy a subscription and so on. What we also is doing on DubLi is we're actually paying our customers to bring new customers in. All those customers is also going to be your customer. So let's say those 80,000 customers is costing average bring in 10 new customers. Now we have 800,000 customers. And now I'm going to give you the most important information that you're going to hear over the whole night. That is that what is going to happen in a year from now on, or 3 years from now on, or 5 years from now on, if all your sellers around the world quit working in the business. What will happen to your income? Where is your income coming from? From customers. First of all, those 800,000 customers here on DubLi doesn't even know about a business opportunity. They are on DubLi because they're getting special deals, because they're getting cashback. What will actually happen to your income, and that's what's so fascinating about it, is those 800,000 customers is going to bring new customers, You cannot even stop it if you want to stop it. Those 800,000 customers can over the next 5-10 years become 8 million customers, 80 million customers. Just if one of your partners here will bring in one telecommunication company, one bank or whatever, those guys could bring in 800,000 customers alone. And that's what's so fascinating about those information given here. And that's the reason why I'm saying to you, this is $1 million business. This business here has a global potential. If you pay $1 million tomorrow and you open a local McDonald's here, you can only reach people, customers around you in 5-10 kilometers that's going to buy a burger. Here, you can earn cashback, you can earn bonus on all the customers worldwide in all the countries around the world because of the foundation we've been putting together. I'm going to ask the same question again. How many of you opened a business before? What do you normally do when you launch a new business? You make what we call a business plan, is that correct? How many of you actually normally do a business plan for 1 year? Normally when you do a business plan, don't you do it for 3 years or 5 years? So remember what I said in the beginning, this is a normal business. So let's treat it like a normal business. So instead of just looking 1 year ahead of time, why not try to look 3 years ahead of time? And my question to you is, how many of you will actually be satisfied if you had 800,000 customers and 4,000 sellers in your organization in 3 years? Would that be okay? For most people it will be okay. So let's look at this and say, oh, this is a business. We look at this for the next 3 years. So instead of this is now 1 year, instead of this is a month, what is it then? If you look 3 years ahead, it's what? It's a quarter. Okay? How many of you in here can talk to one person who wants to earn extra money in the next quarter, in the next 3 months? Is that pretty realistic? How many of you think that you and him can talk to one person more in the next quarter? How many of you think this is pretty realistic to have 16 in your sales force, including yourself, in the first year? Is that pretty realistic? Think about if you have 19 people you in front of your business plan. What I'm trying to tell you here, the only way you can lose in this business is by quitting. Never give up. That's the key here. This will come for every single one of you if you continue working. It doesn't matter if it takes a year or 3 years or 5 years. This is a fact. This is happening every single day around the world for a lot of sellers in DubLi. and it's only the beginning. And that's what's so fascinating about this business opportunity. When I was presented to this industry the first time, I had a big change of Mexican restaurant in my home city. And I worked 60 hours every single week with a lot of stress, a lot of, when you're a young guy and you have so many restaurants, you have the bank, you have to talk to almost every single day. When I saw this business opportunity for the first time, I knew, wow, this is the future. Because what's actually happening in this business, and that is a new way of thinking, is the bigger your business is going to become here, the less stress you're actually going to get. It's a very, very, very special feeling to go on vacation for 1 week. Let's say you go to an island, you have no telecommunication there, you have no internet, you come back from your vacation, you log into your back office and you see, wow, 120,000 new customers join my business. I've been on vacation for a week. This is a very, very special feeling. I really hope that everybody will get this feeling online. So the advice I have to you is that treat this like $1 million business, because this is $1 million business. Have you ever heard the saying, if you want to become successful, you should learn from successful people? Most people, when they've been to a meeting like this, they will go back and they will talk to the uncle who worked in the same company for the last 25 years, and they will ask the uncle and say, what do you think about this business opportunity? Do you think this is something for me? What do you think his advice would be? What you need to understand is you need to learn from successful people. I'm going to finish now. I'm going to show you a small movie. Please enjoy this movie here, because some of the most successful in the world today is actually inside this movie, giving you their advice how to become successful. And they all did it. So please enjoy this movie, and thank you so much. Thank you. Please enjoy the movie.
Crazy? I think waking up at 6 a.m., eating breakfast, and then getting in a car and sitting in traffic for an hour and a half on your way to a job where you've been sitting in a box for 8 hours, get a 30-minute break to eat some lunch, get back in that car to sit in traffic for another hour and a half on your way home, you eat dinner, watch some TV, go to sleep. Repeat that until you're about 60, you retire, and then you die. I think that is absolutely insane.
To somebody, it would be that you have to love it. You have to really want it, and you have to love what you're doing. There are so many people that are forced through family pressure or something into doing something that they don't believe in, that they don't like. You've got to go after the kind of job you like.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't. Oftentimes, it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
In all the years that I've been doing this, only one person has quit, left. I've been amazed that there's only been one person, because some people and sometimes you really suffer. It's very tough. You're doing something that when you look back on your life, I think you will not be proud of, number one. Number two, when I give speeches on success and speeches on motivation, the second point I make is never ever give up, never quit.
8 years old, I had a paper route. At 10 years old, I was shoveling driveways after a snowstorm, making 20 bucks a driveway. And I hit it big for the first time when I was 16 years old, selling ices on the beach. I go blanket to blanket with a cooler, and inside was a barrel of ice. They'd scoop them out. Each scoop cost me 7 cents. I sold them for $1. Every summer, I made 20 grand, $20,000 in 1975, 76, selling ices on Jones Beach in New York. And I put myself through college, and that's how it started. I went to Wall Street, and I literally sold myself a job. I begged them for a job. It was a big company, real big company, and I said, I'm a salesman, I can do this, I can do that, and they gave me the job. The opportunity finally arose for me to open up my own brokerage firm. I developed a system where I could train any broker, any human being, regardless of age, race, creed, color, socioeconomic background, education, and I could take any one of them if they had even this much desire, and I could amplify the desire, and I could teach them how to get rich. That was the system. It was mind-boggling. Bang, it took off like a rocket.
What you do need is emotional stability. You have to be able to think independently, and you have to be, when you come to a conclusion, you have to really not care what other people say, and just follow the facts and follow your reasoning, and that's tough for a lot of people. But that part, I think I was just lucky with born that way. It never bothered me if people disagreed with what I thought, as long as I felt I knew the facts. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things I don't know a thing about, and I just stay away from those. So I stay within what I call my circle of competence. You know, Tom Watson said it best. He said, I'm no genius, but I'm smart in spots, and I stay around those spots. Well, I try and stay around those spots, and I just don't have a problem if somebody says, you're wrong on something. I go back and look at the facts, and I think that really is much more important, frankly, than having a few points of IQ or having an extra course or two in school or anything of the sort. You need emotional stability.
For the last few years, you have to be able to withstand pressure. I know a lot of people that are very smart, that have great ideas, everything's good, but they can't handle pressure. And if you can't handle pressure, you cannot be a great entrepreneur.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 100% sure